Hi everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to be writing equations giving a slope and y-intercept and given the graph. So let's go ahead and get started right away. Do you remember that equation that included a slope and y-intercept? Yep, slope-intercept form. So if we look at our equation, our m is going to be our slope and our b is going to be our y-intercept. So if we look at our first example, we have m is equal to -2, so that's our slope, and our y-intercept, if you notice, is a point. So the only thing that we're concerned with in that point is the y value of 4. So when we write this in slope-intercept form, we just put our numbers where they belong in the equation. So y is equal to, what's my slope again? Good job, -2. And then we still have our x. And then if we look at that 4, is that a positive 4 or a negative 4? Right, positive 4, so we say plus 4. Let's try another. Let's look at example B. It says m is equal to 2/3 and our y-intercept is 0, 0. So looking at our y-intercept, we're going to look at the number in the y position, which happens to be the same as the number in the x position, but we're looking at that 0. So when we substitute this in our equation, we get y is equal to, what is my slope again? Great job, 2/3. And then we still have our x. Now, we could say plus 0, but you typically walk around and tell everybody what you don't have? No, of course not. That would be silly. So we're just going to write it as y is equal to 2/3 x. All right, C and D are a little bit trickier, but I think you guys can handle it. So if we look at letter C, in this case, our slope is equal to 0. Again, we're looking at the y value of our y-intercept, which is -7. Sorry about that. So when I put this into our equation, I have y is equal to, my slope is 0. Let me just rewrite this in black to make it consistent. So 0x, and then my y-intercept is a -7. So now instead of writing pluses like A and B, we're going to write it as a minus. Now, like I said, for example B, do you guys typically walk around saying that you have 0 of something? Of course not, because people would look at us like we're silly. So the way we would write that instead is y is equal to, since 0 times x is actually nothing, y is equal to a -7. Our final problem like this that we're going to go through is our undefined slope. Now this one is a little bit trickier. So basically undefined, if I kind of draw a quick little graph here, this is a line that goes straight up and down. So if I think about that line, I know that it goes through this x-intercept. Notice it says x-intercept this time. So an x-intercept at 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 5. No matter what dot I pick on this line, what is x equal to? Right, it's equal to 5. So our undefined slope is the only line that instead of writing y equals, we write it as x is equal to. And what is that number in the x position? Great, it is a 5. So that's how you enter your slope and y-intercept into slope-intercept form. Now let's have some real fun here. Let's look at the bottom ones. It would be great if we always gave you a slope and y-intercept, but sometimes we want you to actually get this information from your graph. So if we look at letter A, we have our line that's being drawn, and if you notice, it goes through both the x and the y-axis. So if you look at the x-axis, does everybody see where it crosses? Right there at the 6. So the way we're going to write that as a point, because you always write these as a point, where does it hit the x-axis? At a 6. So we put that in the x position and we put a 0 in for y, because that point right there on the line is 6, 0. Same idea looking at our y-intercept. Where does our line cross the y-axis? It's kind of hard to see, but it crosses at -1, -2, -3, at -4. So the way we would write that point this time is 0, -4, because -4 is our y-axis. So now that I have two exact points on my graph, I can actually find the slope between those 2 points. So to get from my green dot to my blue dot, how do I do that? I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4 lines, so up 4. And I'm going to go to the right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines. So my slope is 4 over 6. Are the bells and whistles going off for you? Of course, because we can't leave it in that form. We have to go ahead and divide both of those numbers by 2 to get it into simplest form. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So my slope is 2 over 3. Now, the last thing it asks us to do is to take that information and write an equation in slope-intercept form. Looking at it, the only two things I need to concentrate on is the y-intercept, that number in the y position, and my slope in reduced form. So if I were to go through and write my equation in slope-intercept form, I have y is equal to, what is my slope? Good job, 2 over 3. And then I still have my x. And then what number is in the y position of my y-intercept? Negative 4. And now I wrote my equation in slope-intercept form. Let's try another. I think I'm going to skip that one for right now, and we're actually going to go to the next page. Let's look at letter A on the back side. So again, if I look at my line, I'm looking at where it crosses the x-axis. So in this situation, it crosses at 5, 0. Now I'm going to look at where it crosses the y-axis for my y-intercept. And here, it's kind of hard to see, so I'm going to count up, and that's okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it crosses at 0, 7. Now that I have two beautiful dots written there, I can actually find my slope between my two dots. So to get from my green to my red, because remember, you always read left to right, we're going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I went down 7, so negative 7, and I go to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my slope is negative 7 over 5. Remember that last example? I go through, I only need to look at my y-intercept, the number in the y position, and my slope. So y is equal to, what's that slope again? Great job, negative 7 over 5. Don't forget your x. And then what is my y-intercept? A positive, so plus 7. All right, let's go ahead and do one more problem. I feel like letter B looks fantastic. So looking at letter B, what number or where does it cross the y-axis? Right down here. And where does it cross the x-axis? Right over here. Let's look at our questions. It's asking us for our x-intercept first. So I'm going to go ahead and write my x-intercept. That crosses at, right, negative 5, 0. And what about that y-intercept again? Where does that one cross? At 0, good, watching those negatives. Good job, 0, negative 4. So now that I have my two dots, I can go ahead and find my slope in between. To get from blue to red, I go down 1, 2, 3, 4. So I show that with the negative. And right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have negative 4 over 5 as my slope. Now that I have that, my y-intercept is 0, negative 4. My slope is negative 4 over 5. So when I write my equation, y is equal to, what's that slope? Negative 4 over 5. I still have an x. So what's my y-intercept? You guessed it, a negative 4. Great job today. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask your teachers. Otherwise, we'll talk to you again soon. Have a good day. Bye.